Greetings folks. Oh yes, it's another Runcam FPV camera. This one is the Micro Sparrow 2. Wait a minute, I've already reviewed a Micro Sparrow 2. Not a bad little camera, but this is actually the Micro Sparrow 2 Pro, which is a little bit of a revision or an update of the Micro Sparrow 2 non-Pro. Let's have a look. The most obvious change is that we've got the full front casing, which I like a lot. It also has an M12 thread lens, much bigger than the M8 lens on the previous version. 2.1mm lens, 150 degree angle of view. This is the PAL version, so it looks like you have to buy the PAL or NTSC version. CMOS sensor, 4:3 aspect ratio camera, 700 TV line. It weighs more than the original Micro Sparrow 2. It weighs almost 10 grams, which is no drama at all for me with my fixed wings. As with all the Runcams now, they have the one-touch scene setting option, which means you can change from indoor, outdoor, light tracks, cloudy, with one touch of the OSD setup keyboard. An interesting thing, you can actually buy a control adapter for about, $5 to $10, which means that you can control the on-screen display settings via your flight controller, like with the Swift 3. But this one comes with the on-screen display keyboard. Now, if you're getting confused about all these different Runcam cameras, you're not alone. I am too, so I'll attempt to explain all the differences. So we'll start at the top. We have the Eagles. All the Eagle cameras are 16:9 aspect ratio CMOS cameras with global wide dynamic range. The Eagle 2s are switchable from 16:9 to 4:3 aspect ratio. The Runcam Sparrow, not the 2 version, the Runcam Sparrow, the original one, is also a 16:9 aspect ratio CMOS sensor. The Sparrow 2 is a 4:3 aspect ratio CMOS sensor. All the Swift cameras are 4:3 aspect ratio CCD sensor, old school like the 1177 cameras. And the Runcam splits are 16:9 aspect ratio HD recording, 1080 60 frames a second, with 4:3 aspect ratio FPV view. Oh, and the Nano, that's a CMOS sensor, 4:3 aspect ratio as well. There you go. So also in the box we get a mount, the usual cables, on-screen display setup, keyboard. This is the 6-pin cable. We have the red wire, which is something like 5 to 36 volts in. Black wire is ground, yellow wire is the video signal coming out. Blue wire is the VBAT for on-screen display of voltage, and I'm just going to solder that to the red wire. And then the last 2 wires are for the on-screen display keyboard. Let's just plug all of this in. We have a little extension cable for the on-screen display keyboard. So I'm going to put a servo style connector on there, and let's plug it in and see how it looks. Alright, my usual setup. I have a little video transmitter here powered from the balance port of 3S battery there. Could be 3S, 4S, 2S, whatever you want. Servo style plug here. Plug it in and we have an image. And I plug the on-screen display keypad here as well, so we'll go through the menu. So it looks like a typical CMOS image, sort of shimmery details and jaggy edges. You can turn down the sharpness, which I will do to get rid of that if you don't like it. Fantastic wide dynamic range. You can see the lights over there. They would normally be blown out with just about any other sort of camera, but with the super wide dynamic range on, it handles light variations extremely well. Kind of unnaturally, but it means you get a very good FPV view. Pushing and holding the center button, we get to picture adjust, and we can flip it upside down. Brightness, contrast, sharpness. My sharpness is going down. I'll put it on 70 and then see how that looks. Hue, color gain and return. This menu is beautiful. White balance, you can set your white balance if you want to. camera reset, exit, save all. You can see PAL and personal pop up here, personal being the particular scene setting you have. We have on-screen display voltage down here, call sign and connection time as well. Now I'll push and hold the up button and we can change the call sign if we want to, set an alarm voltage there, pilot name on and off, I'll leave it on for the moment, I'll leave the timer on, voltage on, and we can change the position as well. I'll just show you how to do that. You can just move it up and down, but we'll leave it where it is. Artificial horizon if you want, we'll leave all of them where they are. Now if you push and hold the right button, you can change the scene setting. This is the one button scene setting change, which is very nice indeed. So outdoor, indoor. These are all presets for the white balance and the colour setup, twilight and personal. And this is where, if you'd made those adjustments before, picture adjust there, these will be saved as your personal setting. Push and hold the down button, nothing happens. If we push and hold the left button, then we can calibrate the on-screen display voltage. You can actually measure the voltage of your battery and make sure it matches what the on-screen display is saying. That's a nice touch, I like that. Alright, so that's about all I can show you on screen. Let's go and put it on a plane and go for a fly. I've mounted it on my little mini Talon, which is a perfect little plane for it. Nice, dull sort of day. A little bit of wind around. Let's see how she goes. So that's looking pretty good. Nice wide dynamic range, showing all the detail, even the patches of wet ground down there. We've got the typical shimmery edges, jaggy edges, which only really show on sort of sharp detail or lines and things. Doesn't show in the sky, but does show in the horizon. I thought I'd turn the sharpness down to 70. I might even turn it down a little bit more, I think. Mini Talon's going well. View looks great. Voltage down below is excellent. Recording on the DVR in my AMWay Commander goggles. Got a very nice signal too. 4:3 aspect ratio CMOS sensor, which is working beautifully. Good colours I've got in the goggles. Field's looking a bit patchy at the moment. We've had a fair bit of rain recently, which hasn't really dried out yet. Flying the Mini Talon, flying the Nano Talon around on stabilised mode there. Wiggles around a little bit, but it's very stable. Easy to fly. Great flight time too. Fly for half an hour, 45 minutes. Crazy flight time. So this is a very nice little camera. I like the Pro update of the full housing and the M12 lens. To be honest, I've had a little bit of trouble with the smaller M8 lenses. I found the little locking ring can break and it's hard to keep them in the right focus spot. Not so much of a problem with these M12 lenses, much better. Great little camera, CMOS sensor, so great wide dynamic range. You have to manage those shimmery details and jaggy edges if you want to. Some people don't mind them at all. I'd prefer to reduce them a little bit, which you can in the sharpening. Great little camera. Runcam Micro Sparrow 2 Pro.